up, everybody? Welcome back. A new week of videos. We're back, and these videos are all over the place again. You know, there's no theme this week. The theme is rock and roll, as always. Boom! Themed. So today I had a video I wanted to make inspired by one of you, Quentin James. What's up, brother? So, in a live stream I was talking about, recently I've switched some guitars to 11 gauge strings. And the reason why is, I just wanted to try it. You know, and like I said, the title of this video, you know, heavier gauge strings are better. And I actually came to this conclusion, not for tone purposes, not for, you know, any other reason, because the argument's always, oh, well, Billy Gibbons uses 8 gauge strings, or Yngwie uses this, and this, and this. And, you know, what I found is that there's actually a huge advantage to heavier gauge strings that I'm going to talk about, even in standard tuning. It's not just for, like, tuning low, but I'm going to jump into this one, and this was, you know, inspired by him. So, thank you for the idea, Quentin. So here we go, 11 gauge strings, better, can you dig it? Whoop! Alright, so I'm going to hit you with those actual factuals right off the bat. Why are heavier gauge strings better? Well, what I have found is that if you are heavy right-handed, heavier gauge strings are better. You know, like I said, the argument is always Billy Gibbons uses 7s or 8s, whatever he uses. And that's fine. You know, Billy is a legend, Billy is amazing, but if you watch Billy's picking hand, he's not very heavy-handed. He has a very light pick on the strings, it appears to me anyways. And I started going through a lot of these people who use really light gauge strings. I noticed that most of them, outside of Yngwie, but I'll talk about him here in a second, have a very light touch on their right hand, you know? And a lot of the guys who used heavy gauge strings, Stevie Ray Vaughan, people like that, the reason why is they're very heavy-handed with their right hand. And what happened to me is the heavier gauge strings solved a problem for me. So I'm heavy-handed with my right hand, and I would hit low E strings, because my volume's on, and they always go sharp. Listen to Yngwie, he uses thinner strings, and he'll hit that low E string, and the string goes sharp. And the reason is, it's just because of the thinner gauge strings. They will go sharp. So on my Les Paul over here, I don't know if you can even see it. It's over here. Trust me, it's here. I'm going to play it here in a minute. It has 10 gauge strings on it. And it goes sharp. If I hit the string, I hear people comment, like, tune your low E string. It's like, well, the E string's actually not out of tune. I just get carried away and I hit the string really hard and it knocks it out of tune. And what I found was when I put them on this guitar, I put 11s on this one and I put 11s on my gold top, is that I didn't have that issue anymore. I smacked it and it got my attention because I was expecting the note to go sharp and it didn't. You can hear I'm hitting the guitar hard. And this is why I think people probably really like those, was it heavy top, skinny bottoms, or, you know, the hybrid sets, because having that heavier gauge on your lower strings, for me, if you are heavy-handed, is better, you know? And honestly, going to 11s, it doesn't feel that weird. Like, there's not that huge drastic change that I was afraid of. I'm like, oh my god, I'm not going to be able to bend 11s, and I put them on here, I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, you know, like it takes like 2 seconds, then you're like, you're back to bending like normal. There you go. So could you hear how it was going out? Like I said, if I really dig in. So that was a big reason why I found that. Like I said, a lot of people claim tone and all these different things, which could be true, you know. I don't know. I don't think there's that big of a difference in a lot of the tone. It makes more of a difference on a guitar like this, like a 335, because of the hollowness of the body and all that, and cleans, it makes it a big difference. But once you add a bunch of distortion and your tone's so compressed, I don't really know how much of a difference, you know, putting those heavier gauge strings on there are gonna change any, you know, tonal aspects of it. But it definitely, you know, like I said, will help your right hand. So if you haven't tried heavier gauge strings and you tend to have a heavy right hand where you're knocking strings sharp just because of how hard you pick, try at least a hybrid set of strings and see how that goes. Because like I said, I switched over the gold top to 11s. This one has 11s. The KM is staying on 10s because 10s just feel right on that one for some reason. So I just kind of accept that that note's going to go sharp. But it's really interesting. If you haven't tried them, I'm telling you what, give it a try. But 10s to 11, you probably won't even notice. So that's today's video. Like I said, I just wanted to throw this out there because it was something really interesting. Because there's always the tonal debate of heavier gauge strings, lighter gauge strings. But if you're just staying in standard tuning, there is a noticeable advantage to just tuning stability while you're playing if you have that big pick attack. So let me know if you guys have experienced similar things down below, or if you try it, let me know. And we're gonna bounce on out of here. So I'll see you guys all on Wednesday. Keep on rocking. Have a good rest of your day. And yo, let's get our jam on. Whoop!